Trump has publicly praised 5 stocks he owns: Dell, IBM, Intel, Micron, and Palantir, and every one of them has ripped higher afterwards. Dell is the clearest example, climbing from 126 to 430 in less than 4 months after Trump bought shares and later told investors to go out and buy a Dell. IBM just surged as much as 15% pre-market after his latest endorsement, while Intel is up 190% this year. The question is now whether options traders are pricing in a Trump effect. Does implied volatility spike the moment he mentions a stock, and does that create an opportunity? The trade could be buying names he owns he hasn't publicly promoted yet, or selling premium after the initial hype fades. Either way, the pattern is becoming impossible for traders to ignore, and we're going to check it out on this edition of Options Math Check. So here we are looking at IBM in the tastytrade platform, and got to say, kind of wild. Just a few trading sessions ago, we were looking at a $220 stock price. Now it is up at $326, up another 10% today, and up 30 points, which is wild considering it was a $200 stock just a few weeks ago. I think when you look at some of these stocks, Intel also had its big move to the upside. It's been chopping around here. A lot of the things that you're going to see are pretty substantial in terms of moves to the upside, but there's also some things that are happening within the implied volatility layers of these stocks, like with Intel still boasting an IV rank of 78, and IBM specifically, that's the one I want to focus on today because I think it's a really clear example. IV rank of 127 in the tastytrade platform. Typically, you see IV rank between 0 and 100. That is the traditional definition of IV rank. And IV rank is really just looking at the current implied volatility level that you would see over here on the right side in the IVX. That's the implied volatility level. And on a scale of 0 to 100, basically you're looking at the current implied volatility on a 30-day aggregate. So let's call it around 60%. If we have an IV rank of 127, that tells us that the current implied volatility of 60-ish is creating a new high for the last 52 weeks. Normally, it'll fall between a 0 and 100 scale as IV ebbs and flows to the upside and downside. But when you see an IV rank over 100 or an IV rank below 0, it tells you that the current implied volatility is setting a new level where that 52-week range goes from at that point in time. So IBM with an IV rank of 126 tells us that IV has not been higher than it is right now at 60% around this aggregate level of 30 days. So again, the question is, how do we trade this thing? And really, if you look at IBM.IVR, that's another thing you can do in the tastytrade platform. You can look at the IV rank itself on a chart. You can see we were kind of just fluttering around normal levels of IV rank and implied volatility in IBM, and then boom, you see this big spike to the upside, and now we're setting a new range for the 52-week period. What that tells me is a couple of things. If I wanted to play for a downside move in IBM, we have a higher stock price now, which means more implied volatility and more premium value to the downside. If you wanted to buy a put vertical spread or a diagonal spread, you're getting a lot of premium in your short options relative to the long. But one thing that's really interesting is when you look at these stocks that have just skyrocketed to the upside, when they're paired with an implied volatility expansion, you typically see an IV call skew. Which just means that the risk of a velocity move in either direction, if you see call skew, it means that the calls are trading at a richer premium than equidistant puts. So with IBM around 325, if we look at the 300 strike in July and we compare it to the 350 strike in July, the 350 strike is trading for $1,900. The 300 strike is only trading for, let's call it $1,400. So much more premium to the upside relative to the equidistant downside. And because of that, I kind of like placing these upside calendar spreads, especially if you are bullish. Now, if you're bearish, an upside calendar spread isn't going to work out for you, but we can compare and contrast a couple of setups here, and we can look at the cost difference for each. So going into the June cycle, we can see the expected move right now is plus or minus 38 points, which brings us to around 290 to the downside and around 365 to the upside. So let's bring it to 360 just to keep these numbers nice and round. So more than twice the premium to the upside, looking at a $9 or $10 option to the upside relative to a $5 option to the downside. This means that if we look at calendar spreads where we're buying the same strikes, so a 290 long put in July with a 290 short put in June, we're looking at buying this option for about $1,000 and collecting about $500 to reduce cost basis on that long option. If we look at the 360, what's interesting is you're actually collecting more in terms of a ratio of cost basis reduction to the upside. I know that was a pretty dynamic sentence there, but if we look at the trade page, and we'll pop this over to the curve view, I think this will show the situation a lot more. So what we've got here is a 290 put for $10 and a 290 put that we're selling for $5. So you're reducing cost basis by about 50% if you were to play for a downside move in IBM. To the upside though, you're paying $1,700 for that long option, so it's more expensive, but you're picking up a lot more value in your short option. You're actually reducing cost basis by more than 50% by selling that upside call relative to the upside call you're buying. In other words, if it was a 50-50, or if it was an even split between the downside and upside, if I was paying $2,000 for this long call and collecting $1,000 to reduce basis, that would be a similar situation that we're seeing down here, where I'm paying $1,000 and collecting $500 to reduce basis. So you're seeing the long call isn't as expensive as it could be or should be if the implied volatilities were linear here or more equal. So what we're seeing is you're collecting a lot more by reducing cost basis to the upside because of that call skew. So if you are playing for these things to continue to the upside, a call calendar spread to the upside can give you a higher max profit potential than a similar downside put calendar here. Although both of these I think are interesting trades, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, because you're still reducing basis by a ton with the sale of the short option. And if you look at these time frames too, you've got 3 times more days in this 46-day cycle relative to the 17-day cycle, but you're reducing cost basis by half. So it's not linear in time form either relative to implied volatility. That's what I really like about these big spikes in implied volatility, and especially when you have a landscape like this where this thing is just flying around, you have the ability to reduce cost basis on either the downside or upside, whichever you choose, by a really dramatic way. And again, same story here. You've got 3 times the amount of time in your long option, but you're not paying 3 times more in terms of premium. This long option would be $3,000 if the implied volatilities were linear in this case. So just a quick example of something to think about if you're looking at these stocks that have been endorsed. I mean, you're going to see this all the time. I think when you look at a company that's endorsed and you see the market react to the upside, it shouldn't surprise anyone, but I think when you look into the hood, you look underneath, you find ways that you can kind of take advantage of a further upside move if you're bullish or a downside move if you're bearish. And I think it always comes down to reducing cost basis with a short premium component when you have an IV rank over 100 for sure. But more specifically, making sure that whatever trade you decide, you have it in a small fashion where you can maintain the risk, withstand the risk, and just do some due diligence. Make sure you're trading how you want to with these products, but also understand you can manipulate these trades, right? If I start with a calendar spread at 290 to the downside or 360 to the upside, if that short option expires worthless, I can sell another one a couple weeks out. My long option is still 45 days away relative to a 17-day option. So you have a lot of flexibility there. And if this thing keeps chopping around, you're going to have implied volatility stay elevated, which just helps you reduce cost basis even further down the road. But let me know what you think about trading these stocks in the comments below. Please like this video, subscribe to the Tasty Live YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next Options Math Check.